Bad Day at Black Rock was way ahead of its time, 33 years ahead of its time, to be exact. It wasn't until 1998 that President Ronald Reagan signed the American Civil Liberties Act, which issued an official apology to the families of the 120,000 Japanese Americans who'd been rounded up and interred in prison camps following the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The apology came with reparations of $20,000 to the survivors of every person unjustly imprisoned. It's interesting to note that the fictional town of Black Rock, a set built for the film, was located less than 10 miles from the actual Manzanar War Relocation Center in California's Owens Valley. It was the first of 10 relocation centers to be opened around the country, and at its peak, Manzanar held more than 10,000 Japanese Americans, the majority of them born in the United States. To me, Bad Day at Black Rock is damn close to being a perfect film, bold and elegant in its simplicity and diamond hard in its execution. Even more so in its original cut, which Dory Sherry daringly agreed to release without a musical score. In that regard, the film was too far ahead of its time. Preview audiences, used to hearing an orchestral fanfare to begin a film, were dismayed to hear only the sound of the train and a howling desert wind when Spencer Tracy first sets foot in Black Rock. Sherry retreated from the innovative opening and handed the scoring chores to 24-year-old Andre Previn, who'd been under contract at MGM since he was 17. His great-uncle, Charles Previn, had been the musical director at Universal from 1936 to 1942. If you thought Andre Previn was European, guess again. Although born in Berlin, Previn's family moved to California in the 1930s, and the musical prodigy recorded his first jazz album at 17, while still a student at Beverly Hills High School. He worked at MGM until the early 1960s and was nominated for 13 Academy Awards, winning 4 Oscars. Another reason I like this film so much is the balance it strikes between being a thriller and a message picture. Screenwriter Millard Kaufman was determined to stress the morality of the story, as well as suggesting that Black Rock's vigilantes were analogous to the McCarthy-era persecution of suspected communists. Kaufman had served as a front for several blacklisted writers, including Dalton Trumbo on the Noir classic Gun Crazy. Director John Sturges, however, always downplayed the allegorical aspects of the film, stressing that it worked for audiences because the script was so spare and dynamic it was foolproof. He claimed anybody could have made a good film out of it. The trick was not to screw it up. Well, far from screwing it up, he knocked it out of the park. Sturges would go on to direct such legendary films as The Magnificent Seven and The Great Escape, but he always said that Bad Day at Black Rock was the picture of which he was most proud. Everyone who worked on this film was in awe of Spencer Tracy. They all knew of his battle with the bottle and that he was really in no shape to handle this role. But of course, he's perfect. His scenes with Robert Ryan are especially great, a masterclass in film acting. Tracy even admitted that Ryan's intensity actually scared him. The great irony, of course, is that when the 1956 Academy Awards ceremony rolled around and Tracy was nominated for his 5th Best Actor Oscar, he lost to Ernest Borgnine, who went directly from being beaten up by Tracy to the lead role in Marty, which would also win that year's Best Picture award. I'll sign off by acknowledging every man and woman who has sacrificed their life in service to this country. May we never forget their bravery and dedication. Next week on Noir Alley, there will be no debate about the film's noir bona fides. I'm showing what may be the ultimate example of the form. So let's reconvene in a week for the 1947 RKO offering that is the ne plus ultra of the noir movement, Out of the Past. We'll see you then.